Every time I drive past all the lakes and down into this beautiful valley, you guys live in paradise, and it's just heaven. And I always wish I planned to stay a bit longer. So lovely to be back. Yeah, this is the third forum that we've sort of run looking strategically at deer. And I've been really impressed with this region and your land care group for really trying to drive change, because you were actually crying out that this was an issue 7 years ago. And you've been really proactive, and now we're seeing around the state and around the country exactly the warnings that you were giving us happening elsewhere. So there's actually been an enormous momentum of change across the state. I'm going to hear about that today, both from some of the agencies, but also Peter Jacobs, who's working at a community level as well. So the process for today, we're actually going to, in the morning, just have quite a lot of information given to us, so that we get updates about what's happening from Parksfit's point of view, from a department point of view, from a community point of view, from a management point of view. So we're going to really get an updated picture on that. And then the afternoon, we're really going to spend some time hearing from you. And Lynn is really, really keen that we hear what are the issues for you, how well are the initiatives that have been happening, you know, the support that's come in, the bushfire funding, have any of it made a difference? You know, what's working, what's not working? And again, we're really keen to continue to drive change for this region. Where are the opportunities? What could we be doing? What could land care be doing? What could the agency people be doing? You know, we're so lucky that they come up here so that they can think strategically about how we can do a better job with gear. So again, we'd really love today that your brains are really switched on and that we can capture your ideas and perspectives about what needs to happen, because the land care group here is really keen to continue to drive change and make sure we keep this deer challenge and the damage that they're doing. And really, in a way, I think things have changed a bit with biosecurity risk when we look at monkey skin disease and foot and mouth right on our doorstep. So managing it becomes an even more critical process. But what would be lovely is to know who's in the room. So we're actually going to go around who you are, interesting why you actually came here, what are you sort of expecting to get out of it. And if you actually have any specific concerns with deer control, it would be really interesting for the speakers to hear that as they're doing their presentations. So yes, I'm Jenny O'Sullivan. I'm actually farming beef and sheep in South Gippsland, and we've actually just started a community deer control program at Cape Lip Trap, which actually is surrounded by State Park, and the numbers are really growing. We've mainly got fallow where we are, but it's interesting, just at Foster, that's only a 30-minute drive, they've actually got pockets of red deer, they've got sambar deer, and again, there's quite a lot of deer that's coming up, again from the coast, but also in some of the plantations, and also a lot of the other bush. So it's really interesting, it's an emerging problem there. And I'm really keen to help facilitate the process. So maybe we might start here and go around the room. Okay,
I'm Tony. I'm the chair of our local land care network. I'm also a farmer. We have about 400 or 500 acres of reasonably rough country, which is predominantly where we get our deer issue. I've had a young guy doing commercial harvesting. He's been back twice since the fires, and first time he got about 5 or 6 fallow, and then the next time he got about 6 fallow and 3 sambar, I think. So he was reasonably happy with his night anyway. And from my point of view, it's good. It's the few less there, few less tangles of electric fences and short outs and that sort of thing, and a lot less grass eaten. So.
Thanks.
Hey, I'm Peter Jacobs. You'll hear from me shortly, I think, when we speak. But I actually live on property borders Mount Buffalo National Park. I'm actually president of our local land care group over there as well. And I've got a few hats on. I'm talking today about the Victorian Deer Control Community Network, and also I actually work for the Invasive Species Council a couple of days a week as well that supports the network. So you'll hear from more from me shortly.
Sweet, yeah. Just a recreational hunter with heavy interest in the sambar deer, really. So just here to see what's going on. That's about it.
Yeah, I'm Chris. I've got a small block at Mount, 300 acres of really rough country there. I've got a few cows on that, not many, and I've got a few deer wandering around on it as well. And yeah, I just want to get a sort of feel of what's going on in the local area. And I also hunt recreationally, so yeah, just here for a bit of information.
Yep, Elaine. So I work for Parks Victoria based in Mount Beauty, and you'll hear from me as well. But I've been working on the deer control project since 2015, I think, yeah. I'm Lynn.
I'm the secretary of the Landscape Network. Until recently, we had a farm for about 100 years, and that the deer, it was interesting to notice the way the deer increased in there over the last, say, 10, 15 years. And we had hunters, friends from Melbourne who used to come up reasonably frequently and hunt there and kept the numbers down. But, you know, I live at which is Deer Central. Unfortunately, we've got people who keep an eye on the deer at my mailbox and take a few of them out every now and again. So that's kind of helpful for that. Also for the motorists who are trying to drive through there.
Thanks, Lynn. We might come over here.
Hi, I'm Jill. I'm Pete's partner. And I am interested in deer, but I really can't because I knew they were Wisconsin. And I do like
I'm Bill, and I work at the local Macquarie here, where we also process deer for pet camps.
Association of Australia, just until very recently, spent about 10 years with the Australian Deer Association. I've been a recreational hunter for about 30 years and seen a fair bit of change in the deer situation in that time. So here to speak about the rec hunter's perspective, but also very much to hear what the issues are at this community level today.
I'm Ian, I'm a commercial harvester, work for HBP and also for the Rex team, doing cull work in the parks and for the building.
Thank you.
So I'm Brett. I work as a harvester with wild game and business development, but also run a business at Sago Business Solutions that shoots for parks and Dell. And HBP, sorry.
Thank you.
Steve, I own a block in, just come to keep it on, or you like picking all over.
Are you seeing much deer where you are?
Yeah.
And a change over time?
Yeah, there's not so many around now, but
Yep.
yeah, there has been. I have more trouble with deer hunters than deer.
Okay, yeah, that's something we need to address as well.
I'm just a harvester to HVP and yeah, a few farms around the Slangen Valley and Mitter, and got a couple of properties ourselves, one at Slangen Valley, one at Canberra. So yeah, so generally just harvesting, that's pretty much it. So, yeah.
Thanks, Glenn.
Yeah, thanks. Quite as well. I'm just come to see what's going on because I think the whole deer population and wealth and parks, most of the new well fellas here.
It's a negative.
The whole country's rooted after that fire. The management of the bush has been totally null and void for about the last 50 years. That's why the fire was so bad. And now you're not allowed to clear your fence lines to put up a decent fence to keep the deer out. And like Steve says here, deer hunters are another problem. I come to sort of tell these well fellas that the whole scenario is they're not doing their job keeping their own bush clean, and then now they expect us to keep up with all the crap coming out of the bush and the weeds. And
So you're concerned about things not working, so that's good. We can address that. We'll be talking about some of those things later.
that's like all these harvester fellas and these deer shooting fellas. Send them out in the bush. They can't get out in the bush because the bush is that filthy now that you'd be flat out pushing your way through the crap in the bush. And this is where the problem comes. The deer are all breeding up out in the bush and they're coming in.
So Angus, in the workshop, we really want to explore what we can do about those things, so that's great. Okay, if we've got here.
Andrew, work for HVP or Victorian Plantations. And I've got a talk, I've just been nominated to the lady that was going to be here this morning to deliver the talk. Her husband's got COVID, so he decided to handle it for me. I work up at Shelley Plantation where there's just short of 13,000 hectares of pine plantation and several thousand hectares of native forest that the company owns as well. So yeah, I'm here just to fill you in on what HVP are doing in the deer control space.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm Paul Sylvia, just recreational hunter, law abiding, keep the law, so we're just here to check out what's happening with you, I'm not hunting you for me really,
Thank you.
Yes, like my brother, my name's Christian, recreational hunter, respectful to farmers, willing to help out anyone.
Thank you, Christian.
Andrew White, so I've got a farm up the valley, plenty of deer, and also the mayor of Callan Shire.
Fantastic, thank you.
Small property off the road a bit, issues with unused roads, Crown with easements to council. Since the fires, trees, dangerous trees still in the situation, so I'm not putting up fences while they're there. I want some responsibility, who is responsible for these sort of things. The clearing of the fence lines is another issue. Prior to the fires, Samba deer, I don't know how many I had, quite a few, but since the fires, there's been a bit of a reduction in them, but there's the odd fallow one about now. I don't know how much grass they're eating between them and kangaroos, it's a difficult issue. The thing that needs to be done too is access roads that are not government roads need to be identified on maps so that deer hunters don't use those access roads without permission. And there needs to be a real reshuffle of the roads that are available, and not just what's normally, it's an access track and go up it.
Fantastic. Sounds like we're going to have some really good ideas for some things to deal with, so thank you for that. Has anyone else just come in? We're just doing introductions. Yep.
Stephen Kaiser, Del from Wangaratta. I've probably been up in the Upper Murray for the last 40 years, chasing a few trout, and more recently deer. It's interesting to hear the issues that you've talked about so far. Working in Delft, I've responded to bushfire stuff over years after fires and fencing and access and all those things, and they're not necessarily new issues, and I suppose when we get an opportunity to talk, I'd like to talk about some of the things that we all see as issues, and some of the things that have been done, but there isn't always miracles. So yeah, thanks.
Thank you. So for today, I just want to set the scene. I'm really thrilled to see so many hunters and shooters here because you're such an important part of controlling them, because really shooting is the major way of minimising the numbers, so you're really an important part of the solution. I really want you to be honest, and if you've got things that you're concerned about, we really want to capture them, because if we don't know about them and if we don't deal with them in a positive way, nothing's going to change, and I can sense frustration for some people with that. We really want to make sure that everyone contributes, so if you're actually a bit of an extrovert and you're confident, make sure we let the other people who are a bit quiet contribute as well, because they've often got the gems, so we want to make sure that on our tables and with the discussion, everyone participates. We may not all agree with each other. It doesn't mean someone's right or wrong. I think every opinion is really valuable. So let's just gather those ideas. That's what today's about, is getting all the different ideas and then looking at how we address them. So we don't want any arguments about what's right and wrong. It's actually capturing those different perspectives today is what it's all about. I'm encouraging you really to listen so that we can hear those different perspectives and perhaps see a different picture and learn. If there's problems, I really want to focus on the issue, not the person, because then we're much more likely to be able to deal with it. If we get personal, that's when things don't work. So let's talk about the issues, but let's deal with them issues and not people. And I'm really hoping, and certainly for the land care, they really want this to be constructive, because actually the last two forums that we've run in this region has made enormous change. There really has been some significant change after each one, and we've got such a fantastic committee, they drive that change. So we want you to focus on solution. Yes, let's identify the issues, but let's look at what we can do about it. And we've actually got all the people in the room here who can make that happen. So we want to actually work with them about how we can improve the situation. So I'm going to introduce our first speaker. So I'll ask Stephen Kaiser to come up. We're very lucky